Be in the know with unlimited access to IBJ and Inside Indiana Business. Our in-depth coverage of all things business means you'll always be completely in the know. Subscribe for just $1 a week. Get started now at ibj.com/trial offer.
Kristen, Dane. This portion of the program brought to you by myindiana529.com. The weeks are dwindling as we approach 2026. Your gift ideas that you have for your small child in your life, they're terrible ideas. They're just bad. And so don't do it. Don't do it. Instead, give them the gift of education and a debt-free lifestyle. Go to myindiana529.com today. You don't have to be an Indiana resident to contribute to it, but if you are, you're going to get a pretty sweet little tax credit. Your student does not have to go to school in Indiana. I would also note that the funds, once they're there, can be used for all sorts of things, including the likes of a computer. So if you want to think about one way, what you can do is say, hey, I want to give funds so someday this kid can buy a computer. Interesting way to think about it. So go to myindiana529.com today. It's what I use for my kids' education funding, and you should too. myindiana529.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a special day. Hello, Dame.
Hello, Pete.
Logistically, around the holidays, things get a little tricky. So we are live streaming several days early.
Yeah.
We just left each other on Friday, yet here we are again.
Yeah, I mean, is there such thing as seeing each other too much? We're about to find out.
Indeed, we are. Going to be a brief but great show today. Hello, Stephen Miller, or Steve Miller, if you choose to go without the N. So, Dane, we're going to do this today. I want to give people a bit of the holiday schedule, what it is to get going today.
Good idea.
We are going to have two special episodes, one on December 26th and then one on January 2nd. So very special. It is still, Dame, for those that care, it is still Pete the Planner content. It is still me, not in the third person, but different formats of things that we think you're like. So that's what we're doing on the 26th and the 2nd. I think you'll like it. Dame, I'm just curious. You know what we're doing there. Have you consumed either pieces of those content?
I have not, but I think I might. And you know me, I don't usually consume that content if I'm not going to be on the show.
Fair. And the idea that you should consume any of my content, Dame, is you shouldn't. You know, it's not for you. Hello, Jameson. Happy Texas Christmas to you. Dame, today we're talking about, I chose my words very carefully with today's topic. They are the 10 mistakes I want people to try to avoid. Not 10 mistakes I want people to avoid. I mean, yeah, I want them to avoid, but I need some effort because you might not be able to avoid them. And I think sometimes with listicles, they're a little too convenient. They're a little too distilled, a little reductive, a little oversimplified. And if we're being honest, Dame, there's some tough ones here. And I want you at least to try. I want people to be cognizant. I find it passive aggressive sometimes of like the 6 things you should avoid to be a millionaire. Like, is that really that helpful, Dame?
Is listicle a real word, or did we just make that? I mean, I've seen it other places, but that's completely made up, right? That's not like some 17th century word that's finally found its way into common usage.
That's a good question. It certainly exists. It's existed for the last 15 to 20 years or so. I'm sure it crowbarred its way into the dictionary.
Okay.
So by the nature of me reaching for my timing device, we are ready to do the show. I don't even think I'm going to, should I wait for the vapor lock is the question.
We might as well. So I only got 60 seconds left. But to answer your actual question before I completely ignored it, no. Lists like that, can be very frustrating for a lot of people because they start to see things that they know they can't avoid or they haven't avoided in the past, and completely blows things up. So if we can add a little dose of reality into the conversation, I think it'll go a long way.
Can you weigh into this? I've been catching some flack from our coworkers today about my attempt at a Christmas sweater.
You've worn that before, haven't you?
I have. Hello, Rick Swing. I think it's a holiday sweater. Others here, not naming names, Molly, says she's disappointed.
What was she expecting?
Better. I asked the same thing.
Why? I mean, is her argument that the pug needs like a Santa hat or something to be a holiday sweater?
I don't know. Let's start the show in 3, 2, 1. This week on the Pete the Planner Show, we answer your money questions. Here's how the show works. You email us, askpete@petetheplanner.com. That's askpete@petetheplanner.com, and we may make your email in question or comments or complaints or cynical views of the world the entire program. I'm Peter Dunn. Some call me Pete the Planner. Most don't know my last name. Joined by a person that shares that last name, Damian Dunn. No relation. Hello, Dame.
Really appreciate you sliding in the no relation disclaimer. Always helpful. Yeah.
It has been a while, although I will note that a couple weeks ago when I celebrated my birthday, you sent me a nice text message on that day that said, "Happy birthday, Dad."
Yeah, I mean, that's just it makes sense. It's appropriate and it's polite.
Through our working relationship and this show and everything else, is still one of your top 5 moments is when someone thought I was your father?
But which time? That's happened multiple times.
Okay, well, fair enough. Jason just asked, it's been a while since I've turned into the video broadcast. Did Pete's desk get repoed? Fair enough. Actually, there is a somewhat of an answer to that. And a custom built desk in the old studio that was difficult to move.
Yeah.
So whatever. All right, here's the show this week, Dame. I got thinking, there are financial mistakes that people make on a pretty regular basis. And you know this, I know this. I make mistakes, you make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But today, I want to cover 10 that people must try their darndest to avoid. Darndest is a great word. Dame, try your darndest to perform to avoid. And so I also want to note today, as we're doing this, I think you and I owe it to the audience to be as honest as we can as to how successful have we been in avoiding these mistakes.
Sure.
Are you good with that?
Yep, I will do my very best.
The first one I failed miserably at. And it is simply not investing soon enough. It's the cardinal sin of investing, is that somehow, some way you believe that you're going to be in a better position to invest later, and whatever pause you made in doing that is going to be able to counteract time ticking by as you're closer to the next stage of your life. Dame, not investing soon enough.
I have to confess, I did a horrible job of this myself. I doesn't mean that I completely ignored it, but I gave up a lot of future assets by not contributing as much as I could have at that time. I chose to spend those dollars on other things. I don't know how many times I've told people this. I think I've even mentioned it on the show, that if you are at the beginning of your career, or even if you're, a decade into it, there is still time, and that time is essentially a superpower for you. It'll be any dollar you invest will be way more valuable than any dollar Peter or I will invest for the rest of our lives at this point. And if you can carve out a certain amount of money to save on a regular basis and make that a habit, establish that habit earlier in your life, you will not regret it. It makes saving for long-term goals so much easier if you can just start that saving at a good amount early.
There's a couple reasons why I think people struggle to avoid this problem. Number one, it's because when you start your career in investing, we're actually asking you to think about the last days of your career and past your career when you're really trying to deal with that. And Dame, so therefore I've decided to quantify this. I've decided to quantify the difference in my net worth had I actually done what I was supposed to do from ages 22 to 28.
Oh man, were you looking for a little bit of bout of depression in the middle of the week?
Well, this is going to be something. I will say we're having our holiday happy hour later this afternoon, so I will be able to take the edge off.
Wow, thanks for the invite.
$849,000 difference had I simply done what I was supposed to do from 22 to 28. $849,000. And on the odd part about this is that is based on an 8% annual growth rate.
Oh,
I'm guessing let's think about these years. 22, average rate of return. We're doing this in real time. From 2000 to 2006.
I bet you're not that bad.
What do you think?
Average rate of return during that time period?
Well, it's post 9/11, right? Or it catches the middle of it.
Yeah, but we had a lost decade in the S&P 500.
Oh, actually, you know what though? Well, but then it still grows beyond that. The average rate of return during that time frame is 4.7%. So the better question is, what has been the average rate of return since 2000?
Now we're getting closer to normal.
Oh, I love this. And this is also going to be a 30-segment show, apparently.
Yeah.
List one. Average rate of return since 2000. All right. So this will dictate whether that $800,000 number is real or not. Probably could have done this in show prep. Alas, what fun is that? It is 7.98% per year. I used 8%. It's funny how that works.
Classic overestimator.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
That is wild. Number two thing that you must try to avoid financially, and Dame, this one seems just so basic, but it's a little deeper than that, is not investing enough. So right here, right now, as you're listening, you are either investing the right amount of money or you are not. The longer you don't invest the right amount, the worse your situation gets. You don't actually stay the same, and it gets worse. And so failing to close that gap is the mistake.
Yeah, there are a number of times I'll have conversations with people who have a very well-meaning question. Should I save my money in a traditional retirement account or a Roth retirement account? That is a great question, one that we can answer. However, I'm way more concerned with how much you're saving rather than where you're saving it. Because if you're not saving enough money, you're not going to be on track for either of those two locations to make a huge difference for you in the long run. So you have to be able to get close to how much you should be saving on an annual basis.
That reminds me of the old life insurance thing. Is I kind of don't care what type of life insurance people have. I really care if they have the right amount. And so it's sort of the same way from a savings perspective. Dame, number three is the one that I believe, deep pause, is the one that most people struggle to avoid. It is the one where you are likely to mess things up here. I arguably have. I'll let you determine whether you have or not. Spending too much on housing for an extended period of time. Sometimes it doesn't feel like a choice, yet it is. Dame, do you feel like you ever spent too much on housing?
I am incredibly susceptible to buyer's remorse, so I'm probably not the best person to answer this question, even for myself, because I know when we moved into our current house, I had a lot of anxiety about how much we were spending on it. Now, it turns out it's very reasonable based on everything that's going into it. Was it a little bit more than we should have spent when we first moved up here? Arguably, but it's turned out to be a great decision for us. So have I fallen prey to this? I think if I had to say, yeah, maybe a little bit, but not nearly as overboard as some of the folks that we're familiar with, Pete.
Your wife just texted me and she said she also suffered from one big bout of buyer's remorse several years ago.
Still going on.
Still going on every year at a certain date. It reminds her. I will note this. Of all the mistakes here, of which I've made many of them, this is the one I feel like I definitely made a mistake here, but not as bad as I could have. And when I see someone's financial life is off the rails, it's generally because they did spend too much on housing and they've ignored that challenge through and through. So what we're going to do after the break, continue this entire thought process, the 10 financial mistakes you must try to avoid. All that's next on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. This portion of the program is brought to you by Herculean Prepared Meals. You can learn more at HerculeanMealPrep.com. Dame, I actually have the package for what I had for my early lunch today. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Braised beef, white cheddar, truffle mac.
I have that one in my freezer. I was thinking about it today.
It's as delightful as butterfly kisses on a warm, sunny day. Dame, as you may know, I pretend to be a busy man. I pretend to have such important duties that my time is valuable. Well, every day, I can't tell you the hour because it's embarrassing. I walk out into the freezer section of our kitchenette at our office. I go to my selection of Herculean prepared meals. And within 3 minutes and 45 seconds and removing the plastic fork from behind my ear, I am eating something delicious, nutritious. I know my macros, and it keeps me informed. Dame went and bought his own Herculean prepared meals in the last week. And as I travel across the country this week, I strongly considered shipping the frozen meals across the country so I don't have to eat garbage. If you want to do that, go to Herculean Prepared Meals. That is Herculean Meal Prep, I should say, HerculeanMealPrep.com. Dame, what was your favorite one so far?
I've only had two, so full disclosure, but it would have been the mac and cheese, pulled pork mac and cheese. Is that the one they've got? It was delicious. It was really good.
Okay. Dame, we are doing a special show this week as I'm traveling across the country with 13-year-old boys to take them to kick balls against others.
Sounds fun.
Maybe. So I'm going to be the responsible party for those folks.
Do the parents know you that well?
Quite.
Wow.
But I will say I did send them a detailed itinerary and maps and links, and they were like, geez, this is great. And I'm like, well, I can't help it. I had to do that. Let's do this thing. I mean, we're here. It's a Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? David said it's a special Tuesday episode. Is he right?
I think so.
Danza listens. Is Danza cheating on us? Lucky me, y'all started as soon as the Money Guy show ended. Danza, are you just like a personal finance junkie where you're finding men on the internet to listen to their hot takes on money?
What if she's got her own show and we just don't know about it?
Oh, I would love that. I would listen to it. She knows so much about this show. I imagine that her show's 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
Dave, I would assume the Money Show guys, their show's a lot better, right?
The Money Guy show is better than us?
Yeah, I would assume so, right?
I mean, it's a pretty safe bet to say something like that.
Yeah, let's see. The Money Guy show. Money Guy. There's a couple Money Guy shows.
It's not the mustache guy.
No, it's Mr. Money Mustache.
Sure.
Money Guy. Oh, there we go. I mean, they look like two normal guys.
Wait, there's two guys?
There's a guy and then there's a lady. It's basically like Kristen and you, and then there's a guy. Are you on this show?
I don't know what picture you're looking at, but no.
Okay. Anyway, in 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner, talking the 10 financial mistakes you must try to avoid. Just try. The first one we talked about is not investing soon enough. Dame and I both fell for that sucker move. Second one was not investing enough. Third is spending too much on housing. The fourth one, Dame, I got to be honest, I've done this. And since you're a car guy, I kind of feel like you've done it too, is making bad car decisions. Have you made bad car decisions?
I think I've liked every car that I've bought. And financially speaking, again, the buyer's remorse thing comes in, and it makes me a little anxious to think about some of those. But they've all worked out. There were probably cars arguably I didn't need to buy, but I did. And when I think about how I could have used those dollars elsewhere in my financial life, you could argue that I made some mistakes, some costly mistakes. So this is a weakness that I definitely have and have gotten better at over the years, but it's something that I still deal with.
On our list today are several mistakes that people will have all sorts of justifications as to why they had to do it anyway. That's fine. We're not the ultimate judge of this. But when you get to heaven, now, I will note, if we're going to listen to some of the excuses or context as to why a person had to do what they do around these decisions, the making bad car decisions is the saddest list.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of justification, and often it's a lot of want to, it's a lot of getting talked into it by someone who really shouldn't be involved in the situation. Things like financing negative equity, calling it negative equity, all sorts of stuff like that.
My daily driver's been in the shop for a couple of weeks at this point, and my other bad car decision, it doesn't drive in snow very well. And so I've been driving around an old beat up pickup truck that I've had for years and years and years for the last couple of weeks. And I gotta be honest with you, there's something kind of fun about just driving something. There's an honesty in driving something like that around all the time. And I've actually really kind of enjoyed it at this point. Will I like to get my daily driver back? Yeah, I absolutely will. But I don't, I think this has been good for me to put some perspective around some of my future car purchases.
So, okay, you opened yourself up to this, pal.
Sure, go for it.
So you've got a daily driver.
I do.
You've got a special car.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got a pickup truck. And those are all three sort of assigned to you, Damian Dunn.
The pickup truck is general use. Family uses it when they need to haul something around. This was a vehicle that was used in a business way back when, and just I didn't see any point in getting rid of it because there's nothing better in the world than a beat up pickup truck that you can do whatever the heck you want to.
So sure. I mean, I think it shows an interesting vehicle to go and explain. But so those three you have access to. But
yes.
Two of them are primarily yours to drive.
Yeah.
And then how many, let's not do that. But I'll just say, like, the daily driver concept is interesting. I know Kristen, who's not joining us today, has subscribed to that in the past. But is it the best way to do it is just to have a daily driver and drive the daily driver, and it's a very expensive car?
I mean, ideally speaking, yeah, daily driver is one that you don't. And this, by the way, takes on completely different forms if you live in like a big city where street parking's a mess and you're going to get dings and dents and scratches and bad road conditions. But it's not uncommon at all for people to have a very, very, very affordable daily driver, reliable, obviously, and then if they so choose to have a fun car or whatever, that's where they put their time and their money so they can go out and enjoy the process of motoring.
Was it the Cranberries that sang the song Linger?
I believe so.
Number 5 on our list of 10 mistakes to try to avoid is letting debt linger. Letting debt linger. Okay. Early in my adulthood, I looked up one day. I actually remember the moment. I was sitting in our guest bedroom, which is where we kept our computer after Mrs. Planner and I got married. And I'm looking at some balances, and I was like, I have $3,500 of credit card debt. I don't know how it got there or why it got there, but I do know someone in the financial industry who wasn't a personal finance expert at that point. That doesn't seem ideal. I don't want it to linger. I need to get rid of it. So I don't feel like we've, as a household, let debt linger. Did you ever have a debt lingering period?
No, this is one that we've actually done really well on, to my knowledge. And since I've been the one that's paid the bills, been responsible for paying the bills, I should say, in our relationship pretty much the entire time, I don't think we've ever intentionally carried a credit card balance. We've aggressively paid off other debt, with the exception of the mortgage, but we always pay a little bit more towards the mortgage every month as well. We handle debt very, very responsibly in our household, and that's something that I think Mrs. Advice and I are both very, very proud of.
Number 6 on the list, it honestly feels like a point of privilege to note, is not having enough cash. The mistake is to not have enough cash. I think if you say that to the wrong person at the right time or the right person at the wrong time, you're going to hear, yeah, I'm trying. The frustration, it's like quiet, Baldy, and they're talking to you, not to me. Then they look to me and they say, you too, Baldy. I believe, and it is the most cliche analogy ever, but to go out driving in your daily driver without a spare tire seems incredibly reckless.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, the emergency fund being the spare tire of your financial life. Dame, I've always had some cash. And not physical cash because I cannot defend myself. I'm a tickle fighter. Mm-hmm. But I've always had some money in an account that I could access. I never was just flat broke. How about you?
Yeah, we've done better at certain times in our life, just because of certain circumstances, obviously. But we've always made it a priority to carry something that is a substantial number for us. I do think an interesting potential discussion is there a right way to do that? Is it on hand? Is it a local bank? Is it a high yield savings account? Is it so in a brokerage account somewhere using a money market fund? How complicated do you have to get with this to make it a smart move?
That's fair. I think there's no need to overcomplicate it. I do think it probably shouldn't be hanging out in a checking account, but if it is, it is. Mm-hmm. I think what's interesting is you and I've independently looked at thousands of lives, individual lives. And when we see an empty savings account, we see no access to cash. Something that I'm trying to get my head around in real time here, is that a causation or correlation as to why the financial situation is bad? Is the financial situation, it's like, here's another one. When I see a Best Buy credit card with a balance, I know I'm going to see a bad financial life, but that is more correlation than causation.
Yeah.
What do you think about the cash? Correlation or causation?
I think it's correlation because there's just not. Rarely do I talk to somebody who is like, well, everything was going right until this happened, and if I would have had some cash sitting around, I could have solved it. It's usually just a stacking of bad decisions or inadvised decisions that will lead somebody there.
There should be a bourbon called a stacking of bad decisions, because I would drink it. All right, Dame, coming up after the break, the final 4 mistakes that people want to try to avoid to have a good financial life. All that's next on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. This portion of the program is brought to you by myindiana529.com. Dame, every day at our house, we get mail. Since my daughter is a junior in high school, we get mail from colleges and universities all across the country. And it's sort of fun to see all these marketing exercises come to life. And every time I see one and I see my daughter's name on it, and they're personalized, we want you to come to, I think about my Indiana 529 savings plan. I think about the fact that well before I ever knew mail like that existed, because they didn't send it when you and I were in high school, I was saving into that Indiana 529 plan. Just like I enjoy paying my mortgage in person every month, like some Luddite from the 17th century, I'm going to enjoy stroking the first check to some college or university knowing that I saved money into my Indiana 529 plan. It takes just $10 to get started. I encourage you to do it. I use the age-based portfolio myself, and boy, do I love that state tax credit. So go to myindiana529.com today. And it's a website. So, just look at it and say, Pete sent me. I don't know what happens after that, but I'd appreciate you doing it.
Not investment advice, the age-based portfolio, by the way. Choose to decide if that's the right vehicle for you.
Is this a disclaimer after the ad is over?
Yeah, I had to do it.
Yeah, you didn't.
Sorry. Well, I did. So you can cut it out if you want.
Oh, yes. Definitely have time to edit the show. Let's do a show on a Tuesday in 46 minutes. So you said, oh, yeah, let me edit that.
I just made a little extra deposit to the kids' 529 today, by the way.
Wow. I got a daily driver. I got a special car. I got
a pickup truck with a snowplow.
And Dame, the holiday party for the local folks is this afternoon. I'm the bartender.
Oh, fun.
I'm making a holiday old fashioned and a holiday rosemary Paloma.
What's holiday-y about the old fashioned?
Maple syrup.
Nice.
Cranberries sprinkled in that jam.
Okay.
Yeah. I was going to do a splash of cranberry sauce. Ooh. Juice. But then it was just going to take the cocktail in a different direction. So
Yeah.
Okay. Let's keep going.
Okay.
In 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner Show. 10 financial mistakes you must try to avoid. It's hard stuff. Dame and I have listed 6 of them so far. And so, Dame, we're going to do a quick speed round recap. Sure. Did you avoid it or not? Did you avoid it or not? I will answer. I will say it. The thing I will answer, you will answer. If you avoided it, it's a yes. If you didn't avoid it, it is a no. Is this clear to you?
Maybe.
Not investing soon enough. I did not avoid it. No.
No.
Not investing enough. I did not avoid it. No.
No.
Spending too much on housing. Did I avoid it? I did avoid it. I did more or less avoid it.
I'm going to say yes.
Making a bad car decision. Did I avoid it? No, I've made a bad car decision.
Yes.
You've avoided it.
No.
Okay.
No.
Letting debt linger. No. Yes. I'm confused.
Yeah, you've screwed up your own game. Yes.
I know. I have avoided it. Have you?
Yes.
And that brings us to number 7, mistakes I tried to avoid. Ignoring the impact of employer benefits. This is the truth. And it's on the most, I'm going in a very strange direction here. Very strange. It doesn't even feel benefit related. And I'm getting on a little bit of a soapbox. I almost said a toadstool, which is not what I'm getting on. All right, Dame. One of the universal rights of an American is to complain about healthcare. It's what we do.
Amen.
And again, you and I have known each other long enough. We've shared things about our lives. I know that you've made choices around how frustrating healthcare costs can be. And I have too. You seek alternate. It's wild and it's incredibly frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, what we also know, especially we're a financial wellness company here at Your Money Line, we do understand health and nutritional wellness as well, is the smartest thing you can actually do to take advantage of your healthcare is to go to your annual wellness visit and checkup and maintain your health in a more proactive way. Yet, I haven't always done it. I've not always done my annual wellness visit. And I know you certainly haven't either. Dame, that is literally the most basic thing anyone can do. And it's free. You don't do it.
It's funny you bring this up because that topic actually came up in our household this week, within the last 5 days, we'll say, about just annual exams and taking advantage of them because of the health insurance that we are provided with. I have not gone back for that free checkup since I was taking my health more seriously a couple of years ago, because I don't, which is now I should definitely be going to it, but I went basically to get that pat on the back for somebody to say, hey, good job, keep it up. And I don't want to go back right now.
So Dame, I believe If I'm wrong, you have no problem telling me I'm wrong. I believe I went to several of our colleagues, our coworkers, and I said, "Hey, let's all commit to go and doing some wellness visits. I'll do one if you guys do one."
Yeah.
Is that about the time you did it?
Might have been.
Dame, I also did not go this year.
Okay.
But what's really weird is I've taken my health more seriously this year than ever before. I think what I was doing was waiting so that I could really get a pat on the back from my physician.
Yeah, I know that if I set myself a goal that's like, hey, I'm going to go take advantage of this, I'm going to give myself 6 months to get some things under control, just so I don't have to say, have somebody wag their finger at me and say you need to do X, Y, and Z. I'd probably take it a little bit more seriously.
All right. Do you and I want to commit to at least scheduling, like within this calendar year, scheduling for sometime next year? Do you want to commit that to each other? We got a lot of time off over the holidays to call and wait on hold.
Sure. You know what? I will do that.
You really will? Don't lie to me.
I'll do it. If you're going to do it, I'll do it.
I'll do it.
Okay.
All right. Let me set a reminder on my phone. Set a reminder to set a doctor's appointment on December 23rd. Okay, got it. Okay. It actually detected the oops and just ignored the November part.
Nice.
Let's go. Thanks, Steve Jobs. Number 8. Mistake to avoid: living without a plan or even a direction. That aimlessness, that free spirit, that whatever happens, man, living without a plan by name. Ask Pete the planner. I cannot do that. I have to have a plan for everything. It is why I'm the most annoying person you've ever met, is I need a plan for literally everything. Dame, I have not made this mistake. How about you?
At points in my life, I definitely have, because I'm to a stage where I recognize that if I don't have a plan, I will make decisions that may or may not work out in my own best interest. And so in order to increase my likelihood of success, I need to be a little bit more detailed and proactive with many things in my life.
You know, the dumbest thing about me specifically is I need a plan for dinner. I need a plan for everything. The only thing I don't want to plan for is when I'm publicly speaking.
That is really weird. And you're exactly right.
Yeah. Like I hate having a plan for this show. I'm doing the news tomorrow morning and I don't want to have a plan for that. But everything else I want to plan for. But when I think it's the adrenaline rush of I'm a sick man. Like I love the idea of just publicly failing, or the chance of publicly failing.
For those of you that may have not listened to this show very, very long, Pete is the kind of guy who will get up on stage for an hour-long presentation or discussion with a deck of like 12 slides that have no words on them, just pictures, and make it work. And he's really, really talented at it. So whatever he does, it works for him.
It's very nice. I've often wondered, would it be better if I did prepare? And I've actually come to the conclusion it wouldn't.
No.
Anyway, 2 more things to try to avoid. This portion of me patting myself on the back was brought to you by our last name. We're related. Number 9, relying on future you to be a hero. Man. Whew. I've really tried to avoid this one, and I'll just say health-wise, I've tried to say, well, I'll get it together later, and that is relying on future you to be a hero. Financially, I guess 22 through 28, I did this. How about you? Were you able to avoid relying on future you to be a hero?
Yeah, I think we've done a very good job with this one. I mean, I guess you could argue that same time period, maybe not, but I don't even know if we realized that we were maybe counting on ourselves to be a future hero at that stage. So this is one I think we've done a good job, but this is really common. I just talked to somebody today whose plan for getting their kids through college largely is to cash flow it. They don't have the income to do that right now, but they've got a plan on how to get there, and that's going to be their plan on getting their kids through college.
You know what okay, so you started it on that path, and I thought you were going a different direction, and your direction made a lot of sense. But you could have also gone, the person's plan is to rely on how college is funded to change. So that is relying on the world to change to be your hero, which is also a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
It's that's the same equivalent of like, I'm waiting on an inheritance. Like, and no one needs a pep talk from us today. Maybe they do, but I doubt it. You got to be your hero in the now. You can't have an arbitrary time frame in the future in which you or another entity has to save you. You literally got to do it like now. That's a terrible pep talk, but it's still true.
Yeah, you got to be your own hero today for the future you.
And with 30 seconds left, number 10 on the list, thinking more money is the only solution. I've been doing this so long. So is Dame. Combined almost 50 years. Here's what we know. Fewer expenses is more often than not the solution compared to more income. I know you're going to want to argue it every other way, and we're not here to say you're wrong, but we were sent here to tell you you're wrong. I'm sorry. I love you, but after the break, we're going to do biggest waste of money of the week in the news. I'm Pete the Planner. Did I ever tell you that old? I had to have told you the story. So early in my career, I was part of a life insurance company. I was doing financial planning through, through the guise of life insurance. Anyway, so this old classic story of this old life insurance salesman who was at someone's kitchen table, because this is back in the day how life insurance was primarily sold, probably still is, don't know. And apparently these people were super religious that the guy was talking to. This guy worked for the company I worked for, and he was old at the time, but damn, he could have been 35 for all I know, because I was 22, 21. And he was telling this war story about how the people said, I just don't believe in life insurance because, my will is with God. Like what happens, and he said he shut his notebook, his padfolio, if you will, and he turned to them and he said, God sent me here today. And they kicked him out of the house. That's gutsy.
I mean, he already knew he wasn't going to get a sale, so you might as well
went for the top rope.
A Hail Mary.
God sent me here. Good boy.
Yeah.
All right, Dame. Let's finish this breakneck speed of a show.
Sorry, Jeremiah.
Jeremiah. Boo. I don't know why I'm booing him. I was with my good friend yesterday watching soccer training, and my good friend is Spanish is his first language, and so he's teaching me Spanish and getting better, and he teaches me a word that's sort of fun to say, and it's like, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's an appropriate word. It's an everyday word. I maybe will tell you after the show. And so I say it, and a few minutes later, as the boys are training, I yell this word out loud. And I yelled a different word out loud that was adjacent to that word. And he lost it. The word I ended up saying was as objectionable of a word as you can possibly say. I will share that with you later. Oh, it was funny. He's been texting me all day. And I'm like,
just that word?
Yes. It's really funny. Anyway, it is very funny. All right, so let's do the show. In 3, 2, 1. This week's biggest waste of money of the week right here on the Pete the Planner Show is the Bang & Olufsen Biolab 90 Titan Edition. Crafted to celebrate the brand's 100-year anniversary, the Bang & Olufsen's Biolab 90 Titan Edition is an unapologetically bold reimagining of their flagship speaker. The bespoke 143-pound aluminum cabinet is stripped of its acoustic veils, revealing a textured finish created by sandblasting the surface with fine particles of crushed volcanic rock. In total, each speaker sports 18 handmade drivers driven by a dedicated amplification and processing architecture, delivering a 360-degree sound field for social listening or a hyper-focused sweet spot when listening alone. Dame, this is not the first time we have highlighted the work of Bang & Olufsen on this here show, and it's always the dumbest thing you've ever heard. Dame, how much does this 143-pound aluminum cabinet speaker weigh? Or pardon me, cost.
143 pounds. I got that.
Wow, you're amazing.
15 grand.
$211,000.
Okay.
Dame, what's in the news this week?
Americans can start claiming Social Security retirement benefits at age 62. This is nothing new, Pete. There's going to be a lot of catch up or a lot of baseline information here, but there's going to be a discussion that I think you and I can have. That's also the point where checks are the smallest. If you wait until what's currently called your full retirement age, usually age 66 or 67, you get the full benefit. And if you wait all the way until age 70, your monthly check gets an 8% boost for every year you delay. Even with that incentive, only a little more than 10% of retirees wait until age 70. Early claiming had been declining for years, but new data shows more people may be jumping in at 62 again, even among high earners. A bipartisan bill wants to make the trade-offs clearer by renaming the claiming ages. Ready?
Yes.
Age 62 would become the, quote, minimum monthly benefit age.
Okay.
Full retirement age would be the, quote, standard monthly benefit age. And 70 would be the maximum monthly benefit age. Supporters say that people are making permanent financial decisions without really understanding the math. This bill has already passed the House unanimously and now heads to the Senate. Pete, do you think renaming the ages is going to make a difference?
Man, I have more thoughts on this than you possibly want. First off, I think they should have named it like after the Golden Girls. Like there's Rose, there's Blanche, and then there's Dorothy, right? Yeah. I think that would have been smarter.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Planner and I are having a discussion last night. Dame, I've got a high school student. You've got a high school student. We're both about to have additional high school students. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with the new education tracks in the state of Indiana?
Vaguely. I mean, I kind of get it, but yeah. First, yes.
Okay. So my wife is an educator. So this is very, 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 very important to her. So therefore it's important to me because I'm a smart man.
Yeah.
So there are 3 tracks of high school education in the state of Indiana now. I'm going to do my best to describe what they are. Number 1 is called the employment track.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is called the enrollment track. And the third is called the enlistment track. So they're structured that way. And the thinking is the employment track is when you go right into the workforce. Mm-hmm. The enrollment track is when you go to college. And the third is enlistment track is when you go into the military. And so good idea, bad idea. I'll let someone else argue that. But here's what I do know. If you're not familiar with this and you are faced with a track to send your kid to school so someday they can be employed and you see the employment track, you might choose the employment track when what you meant was the enrollment track. So that's a problem. Sometimes these cute names backfire. That being said, I really like the Social Security cute names. I think those would help.
Do you think that just renaming them is enough to move the needle significantly? Or do you think people are really just saying, listen, I can get my Social Security at 62. You can call it whatever you want, but I'm just going to start my benefit.
Yeah, actually, I think you're right about that. I don't think the naming and the confusion about this or that is the issue. But I do think the names are cute. And I think they're effective if that's the problem. But there's a lot that can contribute to this. You could look at the impact that COVID had. You could look at the impact on the jobs market, especially, there's no way this is captured in the data, but the impact of AI eliminating jobs for potentially older Americans. So, I think it just speaks to financial fragility and the financial instability of Americans at large. That's my gut.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a really interesting exercise. My suspicion is that it doesn't make a meaningful difference, statistically speaking. Obviously, it'll be meaningful for people who make more informed decisions. But statistically, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. I love the meaning, the try behind it, but I don't think it's going to have the intended the big intention of impact on this.
Yeah, I can be cynical sometimes. I'm struggling to find the cynicism in this, right? Like I actually I'm okay with that. Dane, what else is in the news?
President Trump took to Truth Social last Friday to announce that he has, quote, approved tiny cars to be built in America. He's talking about K cars, Japanese category of micro vehicles that he floated last week as a possible fix for the country's auto affordability problem. Market watchers are skeptical. What is a K car? Think very small. They're limited to about 11 feet long, under 5 feet wide, and roughly 6.5 feet tall. Pete, do you remember the old gas-powered smart car?
Yeah.
Driving around? Yeah. That is too big and too powerful to qualify as a K car.
No, really? The little...
Too tall to qualify.
Too tall.
I believe. But definitely way too much power to qualify. way too much. I don't know. There is one catch. K cars don't meet U.S. safety standards, and changes would need to happen to the regulations. Transportation Secretary Sean told CNBC that they're probably not for people who want to drive on the freeway, but if there's a market, he's open to letting manufacturers try. The big picture here is not subtle. Americans keep buying larger, more luxurious cars, and it's unclear whether any automaker wants to build a brand new $10,000 car. There is a solution. They already make them overseas. Toyota makes a pickup truck, like bare bones pickup truck, that if they were to release it in America, I think would do gangbusters of business for them. But I don't know, Pete, intentionally building smaller cars, do you think that's a path forward in America?
I get so caught up of trying to evaluate whether I think President Trump's ideas are good, bad, or otherwise. And so I've sort of landed with the economic decisions like this. Let the free market. Like, that's it. Like, as long as it's not like a government edict, I don't really care. The market will sort itself out. But no, I don't think it'll work. How about you?
I think if you were to put some sort of stipulations around where they could be driven, I think potentially like in certain city centers or things like that, just to relieve some of the congestion because of the size of cars, and be lower speeds at that point, I think you could really make some interesting arguments. But overall, I don't know. It'd just be something fun to talk about.
One last story to take us home.
Despite a pandemic, high inflation, and rising interest rates, the wealthy have gotten much wealthier. A new analysis from Visa and the U.S. Census Bureau data shows that net worth thresholds for the top 10% of U.S. households jumped from about 1.3 million to 1.8 million in just 5 years. Income thresholds climbed as well. To land at the top 10% today, a household now needs roughly $210,000 in annual income, up from about 170 5 years ago.
They call it the K-shaped economy. Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah. K-shaped recovery.
Recovery. Well, that sounds K-shaped to me. Dame, thanks for this very special edition of the show this week. Kristen may be back next week as well. If you want to listen and learn more, go to PeteThePlanner.com. Subscribe to the podcast wherever podcasts are getting. Maybe we'll be in your Wrapped next year. I'm Pete the Planner. Sending you good vibes. Good vibes are all this is the budget. Have a great day. Stupid outro. It just like blew the whole thing. I'm deleting this episode.
Great. See you tomorrow.
Okay. Well, you want to stick around for this?
Yeah, I want to hear the words. I'm sticking around.
Okay.
I'm waiting for you to wrap this up.
Everyone else, no bueno. Okay. Adios. Stay getting money.
Off the Record with Indiana's 250 most influential business and community leaders is a podcast that peels back the curtain on Indiana's most respected leaders, one episode at a time. Go beyond the headlines and hear the stories of grit and innovation that shape these leaders. Do you want to know who's driving our state forward? This is a must listen. Subscribe and listen wherever you get your podcasts or at ibjpodcast.com.
Want to give your team a real edge? The IBJ Group Plan delivers unlimited access to every story, every report, every video from IBJ and Inside Indiana Business for your whole team. Cover some or all of your employees with one simple payment. The more you add, the more you save. It's smart, it's flexible, and it saves you up to 30% off the standard rate. Already have IBJ subscribers in your office? Group up and save big. Learn more and get started now at ibj.com/group-plan.